Hey guys, welcome to back to another video. I'm Vexival, and this is the second episode of my Unity tutorial series. And today we're going to be looking at doing mini maps in Unity. Because if you think about it, once you got a first-person controller or something, you want to be able to make if you're trying to make a battle royale or something. I'm still trying to figure that out for myself, but you might see that, but it might be a little bit wild to see full leading up to a battle royale. But yeah, it's one of the things you're gonna want. So yeah, let's get started here. So as you can see, I got this scene set up here. All we got is the first-person controller and the plane. And if you play here, you just muck around a little bit. It's great. And if you don't, once you finish that up, you can see you got this plane that you can use, not just a plane, but something you can walk on. I got my light to light this thing, so if you were to delete that, it would get really dark and you wouldn't want that. But yeah, once you got that in there, I'm gonna quickly, let's see here. So we've still got all standard assets here and everything you got up here. So today we're gonna be looking at minimaps. So let's get right into it. Let's go down here to the assets tab, and we're gonna right click in here. No, we usually do it over here, but we're gonna do it here for now. And we're gonna go to create, and we're gonna scroll all the way down and until you find this thing that says render texture. Now you may think, what's this thing? Once you click on it and it adds it, don't click away for now because you want to rename this, but if you did click away, it doesn't matter what it's named. It's just, I'm gonna call mine MINIMAP texture. That's gonna automatically turn black because it's just a texture. So now we have this little texture thing in our scene. And yeah, so right now, as you notice, we still have our FPS controller, but we still have the main camera, which is, actually, one sec, don't worry about this. I'm just, I don't know that camera here. You still have your little main camera here, which you can move around. You can see the camera preview. So yeah, we're gonna use this extra camera is something we can use to basically uses our mini-map camera. If you do accidentally do your camera, you can just right click and go all the way down to the bottom and hit camera. So yeah, let's get started here. So we're gonna take this camera here. We're gonna move this here. We're gonna actually, to make this easier, we're gonna up here to the transform with his position, and we're actually going to, you can either set this to 0, 0, 0, or you can right click on it and press reset, and it will reset all the defaults of the position, rotation, and scale all the way back to their default values. So now we have our camera here, which we can move up and down a little bit. Actually, let's say we're gonna set the Y to something like 20. Up here, the first value says Y, we're gonna set that to 20. And this may seem a little weird, but we're gonna wanna go to rotation here, take the Y, and change, no, not the Y. We're gonna wanna take the X and change it to 90, which will turn the camera upside down and have it face down. Now, this may seem, as you can see, this already starts to look like a mini-map, but one thing we have to do real quick is change this thing change the projected from perspective to orthographic. Now, I know what this seems like. What does that mean? I mean, it basically is forcing the camera lens to face down from a single point instead of being like a normal camera that just kind of expands open a little bit. So now we got that. We're gonna want to set our size. This is all up to personal preference with size. As you can see here, if we change this to 10, it's basically the field of kind of like the field of view of your camera, like how far it is out from your area. I'm gonna set mine to something like 20 for now, just so you can see it easier. And yeah, now that we got that, we can simply, this is gonna be our minimap camera and it's already set up. So we're good with that now. So all we have to do here is, you see this camera that says, let's see here, you're gonna want to scroll down all the way to the end and you see target texture. It says none, render texture. Remember we made that render texture earlier? So you see this little texture here in your assets. You're gonna click it, you're gonna hold and drag, and you're gonna bring it all the way up and then release it once it has this blue little highlight over target texture. Remember, this only works if you're selecting the camera. And you're gonna let go. It's gonna set the texture of this minimap texture is going to mimic everything the camera sees. So if you see let's see here. Don't worry about what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna lock that, and I'm gonna grab the camera. If I move this back and forth, never mind. I guess that isn't really a best idea. But now that we have this camera here, we're gonna wanna grab this camera, and we're gonna wanna click and hold. We're gonna drag it into the FPS controller to parent it like we did earlier, and now it's going to follow us wherever we move, which is what we want. So if you were to hit play right now, you'll notice there's one little problem here. The minimap isn't on our screen. We are gonna have to get it there, even though there's a camera up there rendering it. We're gonna have to get our own camera in here to make that work. So here comes the little part that might be a little bit confusing. Now, I'm going to zoom out a lot, which you may wonder, you'll see why in a moment. I'm going to do right click, I'm going to go down to UI, and I'm going to find the thing that says canvas, and I'm going to click that. It's going to add this thing to my scene that's essentially a massive projection of your screen and how you can add UI elements, aka like a health bar. This is where you're gonna add all the stuff that's on your screen, like health bars and power-ups and like little and mini maps and everything. This is gonna be the thing that's overlaid on top of your screen. So we're gonna want to put this on here. So we're gonna have to have this canvas selected. We're gonna right-click it, go down to UI, and hit. You're gonna want to go for raw image. Once that's in there, you'll see this white image here. I'm going to hit R, and I'm going to grab the uniform scale, and I'm going to scale it up a little bit like this so to make it a little bit more visible. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to move this up here, and up into your top right corner or left, whichever one you want for whichever game you enjoy playing. But now that we have that there, I'm going to you don't have to do this, but this is just good for if people are using it on different devices, different size screens. You're gonna want to click this kind of like weird like square thing with all the red arrows and everything. It's gonna open up this thing that says anchor presets. Then you're gonna want to, depending on which side, if you did it on the left side, you're gonna want to click this button. If you did it on the right side, you're gonna want to put this button, this here, 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 here. You can just choose which one. I put mine here, so this will basically optimize it to know, so that the thing knows to always put it in your top left corner, no matter what device you're on. So yeah, now we have this, and now it's time to tell it to mirror our minimap texture. So we're going to want to drag our texture and move it into the material slot, the texture slot, and bam, there it is. We have our texture is now getting mirrored onto our screen. By the way, a cool little thing, if you select something like your floor and you hit F, it'll automatically focus on it. So now that you have that, if we now have a mini map, but you can hit play right now and it'd work perfectly. But I'm quickly just going to create a little bit of a kind of a little area here. I'm gonna create a this. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna show you guys how to create colors, so you can make things instead of just white, you can make things colors. So you're gonna want to hit right click here, go to create, and then you're gonna want to hit right under audio mixer. You're gonna hit material. This will have a little new material here. I'm gonna call this blue. I mean, it doesn't matter what you call it, but you want it to be something like relevant to what kind of color you're doing. Now you can actually click this little button that says albedo. You can hit this little color thing, and a little slot here will come up with the color, and you can now change all your RGB values. I'm gonna change mine to a nice kind of aqua style light blue. And yeah, now we have blue, and now you can simply drag this onto any object, and it will change the color of that object to mirror what this material is. So now I have a blue thing here. I'm doing this so you can have some I can have some contrast of the minimap for the minimap. So yeah, now that we have that, I'm going to hit play, and as you can see, we have a minimap. You can see if we turn our mouse around and we walk around, you can actually see the minimap updating live with where you are. And that is I gotta say, that's pretty cool. So you can now actually make your games have mini maps, and you can start working on like making your battle royale maps and make this like your dream. So yeah, that's the mini map. One more thing, this is completely optional, and I want to do this just because it's a pretty dope thing to do. I'm gonna actually click on my raw image, hit F to go up there. I am going to add under raw image. I'm gonna hit right click, go down to UI, and I'm gonna make a panel. No, don't want to make a canvas. Let's make a panel. Now this will just highlight your whole thing in white, which is a little bit weird. We don't really want that. So I'm actually going to scale this down to just be a point. And inside raw image, you're just gonna want to say that it's you're gonna want to change all the values to 0, 0, 0. This one's a little bit different than the other ones, so you're gonna want to making sure to change those accordingly to make them show up in the center of your screen there. And I know it doesn't look like it's centered here, but it is technically by most standards centered. I'm gonna change my center thing to be centered, my anchor to be centered in the center of that, and we're going to we have that. I'm gonna change this color to black. I'm actually gonna open this up. Also, there's a little thing that here says A. This is your alpha. This is like your transparency meter. I'm gonna turn that all the way up, and let me see here if there's any good like if you click this little source image, it says background. If you click this little circle right here, you can change what it looks like. I'm actually going to there's the Unity, especially with their presets and everything, comes with tons of different ones you can of different little icons you can choose from. So I'm going to let me choose this GUI reticle, and I'm gonna close that. So now essentially we have a thing that allows you to see where you are relative to the minimap. So we've hit play. You'll see now we can actually see where exactly on the minimap in the top left. You can actually see where you are on the minimap with our little thing to tell us. So yeah, that wraps up today's video on how to make a minimap. I hope you guys enjoyed, and this has been Vexible, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching. Bye.